is outspoken conservative commentator. That was written there.
Thank
and
you.
Trump supporter, Ann Coulter. Is he just doing whatever it takes to get elected? I mean, I have a sort of cynical view, like that he doesn't really believe in this Muslim ban completely, that he's just like, you know.
Well, I think, for one thing, I think he's a gentle little lamb. I don't know what they're talking about. It's perfectly reasonable suggestion.
Gentle lamb, yes.
Yes. But as I tried to publicize when he came out with the greatest document since the Magna Carta, his immigration policy paper, he calls for a moratorium across the board on all immigration in that paper, which I call for in my book, Adios America. I mean, it's gotten out of control. We have so many people working to bring in people we know nothing about. I mean, as we found out with San Bernardino, people going on welfare. Why would a country be bringing in people we have to pay for? It's just this strange thing that the idea that foreigners have a divine right to come to our country. No, of course we have some say over who comes here. They ought to be people who make our country better. I don't think the moratorium he called for, a temporary moratorium, which we had, by the way, from 1924 to 1965, and it was the most booming, prosperous period in American history. But I don't think that got enough attention right after San Bernardino for him to come out with this. I think it's very clever. I think it's like the Obamacare two-step, where people will say, oh, that's too complicated. How do you tell who the Muslims are? And he says, you're right. Let's have a moratorium across the board.
Yeah, well, I agree with that, but he is including some American citizens in this. They're saying if you go abroad, you might not be let back in, and that could be implausible. Well, number one, I mean, unconstitutional.
He was asked that by a reporter, and I thought, fantastic, reporters are giving him some great ideas. But look, one of the San Bernardino shooters was a citizen, and there are ways this can be done, Muslim or not. Citizens who go right now under various Treasury regulations, if you fly to North Korea, if you're doing business with drug cartels in Mexico, if you go to the Sudan, there are all kinds of fines. You can face up to 30 years in prison, up to $1 million in a fine. So how about adding some countries, certain of the radical mosques? It can be done. What's shocking about this and what Trump has exposed is the entire Republican field jumping on him. It's not that their objection is what you're making. How do you do it? They're saying, we won't even consider it. It's outrageous.
Just saying Muslim ban, complete, Muslim ban. Instead of just saying we need to change the vetting process and figure out who might be radicalized. I mean, that's basically what people are thinking, right?
But I think they're wrong.
On Bobby's point, though, I think everybody would agree that the immigration system we have in place is completely broken.
Right.
What is interesting, though, is when he comes out with these comments and the Republican Party is like, whoa, he doesn't speak for us. And yet, if you really listen to the debates, a lot of them completely agree with him on immigration, particularly when we were talking about Hispanic immigration. So my question to you is, why are they trying to distance themselves so much from Donald Trump when clearly Republican voters want what he has to say? It doesn't make sense.
And that also explains why he's soaring in the polls. I mean, the ones who, and they generally do come around and agree with him, I think they're lying. They're saying it because it is popular with voters. And the reason he's soaring in the polls is not just Republicans, but Americans have been asking for some break, some rationale to our immigration system where we're bringing in people, as we did before 1970. We want immigrants who are better than us, not immigrants who are committing crimes, committing terrorism, and even if they don't do that, who are collecting government assistance. I mean, it's crazy that any country would do that. And they always pretend they're going to get tough on immigration, and then they betray us, as Marco Rubio did. He ran for Senate as a Tea Party candidate, vowing that he was always against amnesty, and he would never support amnesty. It's never support a pathway to citizenship. He gets to Washington, and he spends 3 years pushing amnesty. People have gotten so fed up with that. So Trump is, I mean, I'm not even sure I trust Trump to do the right thing on immigration.
Obviously, he's tapped into a lot of fear, a lot of frustration amongst the American people. Here's a poll that shows more Americans think that Trump could handle terror threat better than the other candidates, including Hillary Clinton. That probably, in large part, explains why he's doing so well, especially among Republicans. You say that he's doing well amongst Americans in general.
Yes.
In a head-to-head matchup, though, lots of polls indicate that Hillary would still beat Donald Trump.
I don't think those polls mean very much at this stage. Wait until we have our nominee. But one of the things that I've actually really liked watching the attacks on Donald Trump is apparently considered a devastating attack for Republicans to go on Fox News and say, he's not a real Republican. Well, okay, half the country is saying, oh, he's not? Fantastic.
I don't have to vote Republican then.
And he isn't. He is speaking for, I mean, this could be, I think this is an incredibly important election year. This could be the end of the Republican Party. It could go the way of the Whigs, and it's over the same issue, cheap labor. The Republican Party will not give up on the donors, will not give up on cheap labor, and Donald Trump isn't speaking to the Republican donors. He isn't speaking to the consultants and you know, the donors. He's speaking for the American people. We have an American Party that's emerging here. That isn't just Republicans.
More polls to show you, because these numbers just are fascinating, frankly. A CNN poll this week shows Trump way ahead in Iowa. Other polls have Cruz winning there, but the latest New Hampshire poll also has Trump way ahead. Chris Christie, he's jumped into second place. But, I mean, even second place, he's lapping them with 27%. It really is incredible to me. And, you know, my question to you would be, will he have the specifics to back it up? Because right now he's definitely saying the right things. He's, you know, as he put it, he's wooing us at the bar. But when he says ISIS is, you know, I'm ISIS's worst nightmare, I mean, does he have the specifics to back up his tough talk on terror, his tough talk on immigration? How is he going to accomplish what he's promising?
I think so. I think he's giving more specifics than any of the other candidates are. I mean, they kept saying that about the wall. At one point, he started giving the actual specifications for the wall. He is a builder. And the more he gets pushed, he does give specifics. But we do want to hear, are we going the same direction? And this the temporary pause in Muslim immigration is a great example. There are ways to do it, and I haven't even thought about it very much. I haven't been assigned this at the Department of Justice. But why is it that the other Republican candidates are all saying, no, this is outrageous to even consider. The rest of the world, foreigners have a divine right to come live here and collect welfare and Social Security. No, they don't. Immigration policy isn't a government policy like any other. It should be designed to benefit the people who are already living here, including immigrants who for some reason decided to move to America. So not Mexico, not Syria, not Bangladesh.
What are they afraid of, Republican? That it sounds bad, that it looks bad, that it sounds mean?
A lot. Part of it, I think that is actually the bigger part of it. I think you're right. I used to say it was just the donors who wanted their cheap labor, want their H-1B workers, want the cheap nannies and the pool boys, and the Democrats, of course, want the votes. I think it has gone beyond the need for cheap labor. It is some sort of mass psychosis where Republicans, the RNC, thinks of immigrants as if they're black Americans and we owe them for slavery. Well, no, someone who's never set
immigrants.
foot.
I mean, we're using immigrants now for technology, for these, you know, we bring in. We bring in the smart people here to this country as well. People with skills.
Look, if that's Trump's policy. If we're only bringing the top ones, we're all for it. The problem is 98% of them aren't, and the good-looking ones. I want to do it by Tinder.
Bring in the smart and good-looking. Okay.
I'll decide every immigration case before breakfast just on a Tinder app.
People are weighing in. Ann.
Hang out, because most of it's about you, I'm sure. Bill McCarran writes, she should be his running mate. Oh, there you go.
You're a fine American, Bill.
Oh, Lord. O-Dog the Great says, Lauren, white people aren't paying for immigrants to come into the USA. That's the lamest excuse. Immigrants work to get here.
Right, but don't we pay them once they get here?
Yes, we do, quite a bit.
I mean, I'm no economist, but Mark Emmerich writes, thank you, Ann, for having the guts to be real.
All right.
You have fantastic viewers. Why am I so one-sided?
I think we might have vetted some of these here. Trina Jackson says, why is she so one-sided?
Are you
that's called having an opinion.
Yeah,
I don't know what that means.
What a political analyst does. Okay. Sadie Crisp writes, I feel it's not fair to judge Muslims for what ISIS is doing. Muslims are just like Christians. We all love God.
Sure, many do.
Yeah.
All right. Anna Latina 1992 says, you don't like what she says, that's why you call her a bigot. I don't agree with everything she says, but not a bigot.
No, Bobby did not call her
No, I didn't.
Bigot. Someone else.
I didn't use the word.
No, I think it was in my intro.
Oh, yes, that was our intro to her. That's right.
That was.
Yes, I can remember the good ones.
We know how to sell a guest.
People say, and man, they are laying it on thick with Trump calling him a racist, a bigot, a fascist, unconstitutional.
But then, what do you call all the people that support him?
Racist, fascist,
I mean, he has a huge following, so.
No, but when they get to that point, that means you don't have an argument.
There you go. Well said. Ann Coulter, everybody.
Ann.
Adios, America.
Adios, America, the political book of the year, according to David Frum in today's Atlantic magazine.
There you go. Book of the year
I'll have
author.
to read this.